Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Driven by Driven community seminar. I am so happy to have you all here. I hope you guys enjoyed the music. I know that we have a couple people who have signed up who are not here yet, so maybe we'll give it another minute before we get started. But I am so happy to have you guys here. I know the weather is so nice outside right now. That's probably where people are enjoying the weather. But we are here tonight to work on our goals and get a little bit of that recharge for the rest of the year. We're more than halfway through 2021, and we got to see where we're at on our 2021 goals. Let's get right into it. Let's get started into our goal setting seminar. And before we do, if there's anyone here tonight who does not know what Driven By is or who I am, I'll introduce myself, and also for anyone watching the recording after. So my name is Deandra Filicetti, and I am the founder of Driven By Co. So what is Driven By? Driven By is a company that is all about your personal development with a core focus on what it is that drives you. So we dig deep and get into the core to really understand what motivates and what drives you. And then we encourage you to build out your life based on what that is, because that's where you're going to get that natural intrinsic motivation. So what do? We offer motivational apparel to have that driven by right on your chest, to take a look at it when you're in the mirror. We offer online courses, so you can take our free online courses as well. We have online webinars and seminars just like this one. We also offer community events. And before we get started, I'm just reminding everyone that this is a safe space. There is no place for hate speech, bullying, or negativity of any kind. Please mute your mic so that you can hear all the speakers. We do have a guest speaker coming in later on. And you can ask questions at any time, and we will also have a Q&A period at the end, okay? So let's dive right into this goal setting mid-year check-in. Like I said, we're more than halfway through 2021. So are you guys on track to achieving your goals? I'm going to put up a poll really quickly. You see that on your screen. Are you on track to achieve your goals? Okay, so we got some responses. So far there's some no's. And that's okay. You know what? That's perfectly normal, because a lot of the times we get really energized at the start of the year or at the start of the month, and then over time that kind of fades away. So that's why it's really important to join, seminars like this, or join other things, or listen to podcasts that really motivate you to continue moving towards your goals. So that's what we're here to do tonight. So if you were at our goal setting seminar at the beginning of the year, you would have seen the goal funnel. So the goal funnel is just a model to show you how goals are achieved. That's really it. It's very, very simple. So if you think about it, all of us exist at the very top of the funnel. So we all have some sort of vision or idea for our future. And it's very non-specific, because it's just floating around in our head. We know kind of what car we want to drive, or what house we want to live in, how much money we want to make, what our dream job is, where we want to be in our business or career. We have that idea of our future, but it's not always specific. We don't have all the details yet. So that's where goals come in. If we want to achieve a very specific vision for ourselves, we set goals. So first we want to identify our goal categories. So exactly what category do each of these visions or ideas fall into? Then you write out your goal statement. So I will do this, or I will do that. Then you create an action plan for yourself, and then you execute on it. It's very simple. It seems so simple, but it's oftentimes, as humans, we fall off because we need that extra motivation. We need to get recharged. So as you can see, the goal funnel starts out as being very non-specific. And then as you move through the funnel, achieving those goals means getting really specific with your actions and what you execute on. Okay? So we're going to start, and we're going to go through this process really quickly. So we're going to start by revisualizing, okay? So I know you guys your cameras are off, and that's perfectly fine, but what I want you to do is take a moment to close your eyes. Now, it's really important to close your eyes so you can actually see what you would like for your future. Okay, so close your eyes. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So with your eyes closed, in the next 5 months, so for the rest of 2021, and at the end of 2021, where do you want to be? Visualize it. Picture that in your mind. Think about where you want to be when it comes to your health goals. Think about your health. Where are you at on your journey at the end of 2021? Now, think about your business or career goals. So, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, think about where you're at and visualize where you're at the end of 2021. What does that look like? Has your business grown? Did you get a promotion? Are you working on new projects? Visualize what that looks like. And so, to get where you are at the end of 2021, what skills do you need to work on in order to get there? Do you need to work on your organization? Do you need to work on your networking? What do you need to work on to get there? Visualize it. Visualize yourself sharpening those skills. Now, as you're visualizing, take a look around you. So at the end of 2021, in your mind, who is around you? What kind of friendships, relationships, and support system do you have in place? What have you built around you? And lastly, now look at yourself. Visualize yourself. What kind of person are you going to become by the end of 2021? What qualities do you embody by the end of 2021? Visualize yourself the end of 2021. Okay. Now you can open your eyes. And now everything that you just saw, you probably saw a lot. I asked you to visualize your friends, your support system, what kind of person you are, your business, your career, your health. That's a lot to visualize. So, with all of those goals in mind, we're going to start to write them down. So, if you don't have a paper and a pen in front of you, you are going to need it right now. So, go ahead and grab a pen and a paper and before we head into the next activity. For those of you that do have a pen and paper in front of you, what you can do is on the screen, you will see 6 goal categories. What you can do is on your piece of paper, write down those goal categories across the top of the page. I wrote it on the landscape side just because you'll have more space because we're going to write underneath them. But grab a piece of paper and write down the goal categories. So the goal categories in front of you are health and wellness, financial, business and career, relationship and family, education, and personal development. So now that you have the goal categories written down, or as you're in the process of writing these different goal categories down, everything that you visualized should fall into one of these categories. And so, what I want you to do is write down all of your aims and visions and goals in each one of these categories. So, for example, if in health and wellness you saw yourself going to the gym more, if you saw yourself changing your diet, write that down in this column. Everything that you visualize, everything that you want to accomplish in that category, write it down. And you're going to do the same for all 6 categories. So every vision, aim, and goal that you have in each category that you visualize, write it down under each category. I'll give you a few minutes to do that because it will take some time to think. And as you're working on that, I will do the same. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, you can use the chat or you can hop on the mic and ask any questions. Okay, so I hope that you guys have had some time to write down your goals in each category. And if anyone would like to share any one of their goals in any of the categories, you can just raise your hand and hop on the mic and do so.
So I have that I want to increase the bond in my family. So spending more family time together and just creating a deeper bond.
I love that. And you know what? It's so funny because it's one of those small things that we take for granted sometimes. And by having it, when you see your goal categories in front of you and you have family on there, it just makes it feel like that much more of a priority. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Or career, after this consideration this past couple of months, I would love to retire.
Awesome. That's amazing. That is amazing. Oh, that's so exciting. That's definitely something to look forward to. Amazing. And one of mine, so I've got a few here. My writing's really messy. I've got a few in each category here. So one of mine is to read some more books, especially by John C. Maxwell. He's definitely on my radar for personal development and education there. So that's one of mine. All right, so the next step before we move on, so you're going to take a look at all of the goals on your sheet of paper here. Now there's a lot. And the thing is, when it comes to goals, I'm so guilty of this myself. I bite off more than I can chew. We tend to, want to do a lot of things really quickly, but it's very hard to do everything all at once. And so what's best is to actually, take a pen or a highlighter and highlight 2 to 3, maybe 4 goals that are priority goals that you can work on right now. Now you can add more if you have the time to add more goals by highlighting the ones. So you're going to highlight the most important ones that are going to become a priority for you in the short term or in the next few months. If you can highlight more, that just means you have more time and energy to allocate to each one. If you're a busy person, you want to keep it to a minimum because more than likely, if you already don't have time, you're not going to have time to add a bunch more goals. So be realistic with yourself and highlight the ones that are going to be most impactful to your life, that are most important, and that should be a priority right away. So I would recommend 2, 3, maybe 4 in and around there. It just depends on how much time you have to allocate to each one. Now you could highlight 6 if you really wanted to, if you are able to spend time in each one. That's absolutely fine. I just want you to be realistic with yourself. If you have 20 goals, it's going to be tough to get them all done. So hopefully you have some highlighted goals on your sheet in front of you. And what we want to do next, we've all heard of SMART goals, so I don't have to dive right into what SMART is, but it does come into play when it comes to writing those goal statements. So what we want to do is rewrite our goal statements. So perhaps at the beginning of the year, we set some goals for ourselves, but maybe our vision changed. That's why we did that revisualization for the rest of the year, because myself personally, there are some goals that I had at the beginning of 2021 that just are not going to pan out. And it could be for whatever reason. It could be due to the pandemic for you guys. It could be, something came up in the family. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just the fact that we're acknowledging that something changed and our goals can change as well. So that's why we're going to rewrite our goal statements. So when you write a goal statement, again, you want it to be a SMART goal statement. So that means it's specific, it's measurable, and realistic, and it's time-based. So it has that deadline. So for example, a financial goal might be, I will have, instead of 1 year here, imagine 5 months for the end of the year, I will have $5,000 saved in 5 months. I will, so it's not I want, it's I will have $5,000 saved in 5 months. So you can measure it. So it's the $5,000 saved in 5 months. So you've given yourself a deadline. That's the ideal goal statement. So for all of the ones that you've highlighted, if you can fit it on your sheet of paper, write out those formal goal statements. So if you're making those family bonds, for example, for Rose's goal, she might be able to write, I will spend, 2 hours per week on family game night. So you know that, you're spending the 2 hours, or maybe it's 4 hours, or, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is, so that you're booking in that time, and you know that you're at least allocating that much time to the family. And for Sil, on your way to retirement, maybe there are certain things that have to be done prior to retirement. I will do this by this date. So I'll give you guys another minute to just write down those goal statements. Okay, so hopefully you've got some goal statements written down. And the next step I want to touch on is understanding why. So behind every goal that you set yourself, there is a reason why. And it's not just surface level. So usually there's a deeper meaning to our goals. So for example, if we're scheduling game nights, if we're going back to family goals, if we're scheduling game nights, it's not about the game nights, it's about strengthening those bonds with our family. Another example might be if we want to get a promotion at work because we want to move out. That could be the goal. We want to get that promotion at work so we can move out. But why? What's the deeper reason behind that? And the deeper reason might be because you want to move into that next stage of your life and kind of, take your family to that next level. You want to give yourself that family space, have your own space. That's the deeper reason. And that deeper reason is going to be more compelling to you than the goal itself. So for each and every goal that you have written a statement for, think about that why. And as you're creating your action plan and as you're working towards those goals, keep the why in the back of your mind. That's why I'm doing it. You're not running every day just to run. You're running because of all the health benefits. You're running because you want to have a longer life, spend more time with your family. Look for those deeper reasons because that's going to help keep you motivated. So now we're going to touch on some new strategies for the rest of the presentation. So the first one I want to touch on is be, do, have. 3 simple words, just 3 simple words have such an impactful meaning. So what I want to touch on is the fact that whenever we talk about goals, we always talk about the have. We always talk about what we want to have, right? We talk about, I want to save this much money. I want to have this. I want to have health. I want to have family. I want to, be more educated. We always talk about the have. And sometimes we fall off the wagon as we're working towards our goals because we need to focus on some other fundamental aspects of working towards our goals. Now, we often just go far back as the do. So the do is what we have to do to get to what we want to have. So for example, this is often seen with health goals. So if we want to lose weight or be healthier or change our diet, we know that in order to get to what we want to have, to lose the weight and be healthier, we have to exercise more. That's what we have to do. We have to change our diet. That's another thing we have to do. So we know what we have to do to get to what we want to have. Now, unfortunately, there's just something missing from that. There's something missing from that. It's not just, do this and then have this. Fundamentally, there's something missing. For those lasting changes so that we don't fall off the wagon and so that we keep that motivation going as we're working towards our goals, we need to focus on who we want to be. Who is the kind of person that has these things? Because if we align who we want to be with our goals, we are more than likely going to stick to those goals. So what I mean by this is if we're sticking to that example where, we want to lose some weight or be healthier, we just focus on changing our diet and going to the gym. And it's very easy to lose track of that and fall off the wagon. But if we start to identify as a quote unquote healthy person or fit person, if we start to embody the identity of a healthy and fit person, we're going to start to think like that. We're going to start to develop the habits of a healthy and fit person. Because, when you go out to a restaurant, for example, and there is, I don't know, a cheeseburger or some sort of like veggie bowl or something that's a little bit healthier, if you identify with a healthy person, you're going to think to myself, well, I'm the kind of person who would order this. And instead of thinking of, oh, I'm on a diet, like I really want the cheeseburger, but I guess I have to have the healthier option because I'm on a diet, because I want to be healthier. I want to lose weight. It kind of just brings a negative connotation to it because we're like, oh, we have to do this in order to get here. But instead, if we just focus on, I am going to be a healthy person, I identify with being a healthy person, it's more like, no, what does a healthy person choose here? And that's this option. It's all about the mindset. That's right, Rose. I love that. Absolutely. So identifying with who we want to become as part of our goals, that changes your entire mindset towards doing the actions necessary to achieve those goals. Amazing. So what we're going to do quickly, if you still have that sheet of paper handy in front of you, flip it over to the back side and let's write down 5 qualities of the person that we want to become. So that person that you visualized, what are 5 qualities of that person? What are 5 characteristics of a person who accomplishes those things? For myself, I wrote down some prior to this because I was like, I love this exercise. It's so powerful. So I wrote down, no excuses, start no matter what, organized, energetic, and excited. So write down 5 qualities of the person who accomplishes the goals on your list. How do you become this person? Who do you have to be? And if anyone already has some ideas, let me know. What are some of the qualities that you guys wrote down?
You're going to love this. Put 2. I have to be determined and I have to be driven.
Of course. I love it. I love it. Exactly.
For real, though. For real.
I love that ties back into the brand because it's all about what you're driven by. So if you're driven by these goals, being driven towards them and by them at the same time. I love that. So we got another one in the chat, organized, patient, and compassionate. Yeah. Sometimes we have to work at that. Sometimes we get so focused on, where we want to be, what we want to have, and we forget to have patience. We have to be patient with ourselves too. Thank you guys for sharing. I hope you guys have at least 5 qualities and start focusing on becoming that person because that person achieves the goals on your list. All right. So at this point, I am so excited to introduce to you our special guest, Destiny Filicetti, who is actually my younger sister, and she has stepped into the role of the marketing coordinator here at Driven By. So she's just started. She's in her first couple of months. And she is going to talk to us about how to boost our intrinsic motivation when it comes to goals or anything in life, really. So welcome, Destiny.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Destiny Filicetti, and like Deandra already mentioned, I'm the marketing coordinator for Driven By Co. I have written a few blogs for Driven By. Some of you may or may not have read them, but I have written one on how to boost intrinsic motivation. So I'm going to be talking about 3 strategies that you can implement in your lives to help you boost your motivation. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first step is autonomy. So how many of you feel that you have little control in your life, whether it be within the workplace or within the household? So this is because you're constantly being told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So in order to increase your intrinsic motivation, you need to take that control back. So try to increase the amount of decisions you make for yourself, deciding what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. By having more control, you will have more intrinsic motivation. The second step is purpose. When you tie your efforts to a greater cause, you will be able to boost your intrinsic motivation. And this is because you're providing meaning to your work. So try to engage in activities that allow you to contribute to this greater cause, or try to find a greater cause in the work that you already do. So, for example, if you find that your purpose is to help other people, try to find programs within your workplace that allow you to contribute to the community. If not, try to volunteer within your community at a local shelter or a local food bank. And the final step is mastery. So, mastering a skill feels good, doesn't it? Leveling up in karate, getting another belt, that felt amazing. And this is because you are leveling up. You are improving yourself. We have a natural desire as humans to be good at the things that we do. Therefore, increasing the time spent on mastering skills will help you increase your motivation. So, these are 3 simple steps that you can introduce into your daily life to help you increase your motivation and to help you achieve your goals. So, we have autonomy, purpose, and mastery. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, if no one has any questions, I want to say thank you so much. That was Destiny's debut, so let's give her a little bit of an applause for her first seminar.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening.
Getting some awesome feedback in the chat. Amazing. All right, so we just have a couple more slides for you, some final strategies before we go. So the last one is about habits. Now, I love to let everyone know to do this activity. Our habits are critical. So just like we talked about having that identity, so identifying with the kind of person who achieves your goals, when you identify as the person who achieves those goals, you also need to identify with the habits of that person. In order to get to that point, you have to take a look at your habits right now. How are you spending your time right now? So what I recommend is actually doing a habit tracking activity, and it's going to be super enlightening. So what you want to do, we actually have a habit tracking template on our website. I can send you a link to, or just grab a piece of paper or take notes in your phone. That's all you have to do. What you're going to do is write down every single thing that you do in a day for a week. So if you wake up and you spend 20 minutes on social media, I know I do, write that down. Then if you take an hour and a half to, eat breakfast and get ready for work or whatever it is next, write that down. Half an hour for a commute, this, that, whatever it is, write them all down and do that for a week, including time that if you just come home and spend 2 hours on Netflix, include that. Now, at the end of the week, when you have a full piece of paper filled up or notes filled up, what you want to do is go back and highlight it. Now, this is the key part. So you want 3 highlighters: yellow, green, and pink. First, go through your list and highlight everything that is essential in yellow. So things you have to do. If you have kids, taking care of the kids, you got to eat, you have to commute, you have to go to work, you have to clean, all that stuff, highlight in yellow. Then take a look at everything else. Now, any time that you spend working on your goals or anything that is productive, highlight that in green. And then everything left over is more than likely not productive time. Now, I'm not saying you have to eliminate all your not productive time, but highlight it in pink. And if your sheet is all pink and no green, that tells you that you need to make a little bit of a change in your habits. If you're coming home after work every night and you spend 1 hour on your goals and 5 hours on Netflix, we need to flip the script. And we're going to have to increase the green amount of time on our habits or in our schedule and reduce the pink. And like I said, it's not about getting rid of the pink. It's not about getting rid of it, because we need balance in our lives and we need breaks. We need to kind of unwind. We need that. We need a little bit of pink, but not too much. It's about having that balance. So I definitely recommend doing this activity. It truly is an eye-opener. It truly is. And sometimes we just need to change those habits, but first being aware of what we're doing now. Sometimes they're invisible. Sometimes they're invisible. There's a great quote that Destiny found, actually, and it goes something like, the weight of the chains of our habits is, how does it go, Destiny? Do you remember?
It is, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. By Warren Buffett.
The chains of our habits are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. So that tells me if I spend 5 hours on Netflix every day, that doesn't seem like a lot because I'm coming home to unwind. But after 5 months goes by, that's a lot of hours that I'm missing out on towards my goals. So that's a great takeaway. So before I leave you guys, I did see that someone wanted the link, so I'll write that down to make sure I send the link out. There are some other resources I wanted to share as well. So put these 3 books on your reading list. So I've only read one of the 3. These 2 are on my reading list as well. Atomic Habits by James Clear is a must read. It'll change your whole mindset towards habits. Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell, and Mindset by Carol Dweck. And then also on the other hand, from Driven By, if at any time you want a refresher, so maybe every 2 months you need that recharge for your goals, we have a completely online goal setting course. It's only 30 minutes long and it's absolutely free. So I will also send the link to that after the seminar, but you can go right in there, take that at any point in time to just get that refresher. And lastly, I wanted to introduce to you our 2-week execution challenge. So this is a free challenge that we're hosting at the beginning of August. And any goals, anyone from any walk of life with any types of goals is welcome to come. And what we're going to do is focus for 2 weeks on building some habits and taking some action towards our goals. So it's all about executing our own individual action plan and having a group of people to do it with. So I want about 10 people to do that with so we can keep it small, keep it tight, and encourage each other. So I will also send out the link to sign up for that. And it's on your own time. We're going to come together, kind of encourage each other, motivate each other, and take action towards our own goals for those 2 weeks. Amazing. All right. So I also want to point out that our next seminar next month is August 26th at 7:30 p.m. Again, they're only 45 minutes. They're quick and to the point, and we want you guys to kind of get those takeaways. So it's how to rock it in real estate. We're going to have 2 real estate agents just talking about, what it takes to be successful in that industry. So I also want to take this time to ask if there are any questions. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us and connecting with us on this goal setting check-in seminar. The meeting is recorded, so I will also send you guys a link along with the links to everything else. But I'm so happy that you guys are here. Oh, we have a question.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good, Now, I'm really terrible with time management and goal setting. What do you think is the best way to overcome that, other than a calendar, which I probably will not use?
That's fair enough. You know what? It's tough. It's a whole mindset change. If you're not used to that time management, if you're not used to having deadlines and things like that, you definitely want to start small. So what I would do is kind of start. So you saying you don't use a calendar. Do you think a digital calendar would work for you, having those digital reminders?
I'm just terrible with inputting things.
Okay. So you know what? When you go into the office, for example, I would honestly take 10 minutes at the beginning of each day. I know you might be the kind of person to want to take action right away, but taking literally 10 minutes, just starting with that. And even if you don't stick to your time plan for the day, just starting to be consistent with having a 10-minute planning period at the beginning of your day to start inputting things. Because if inputting is the hurdle, maybe focus on just inputting. Before you start to have to stick to your schedules and your time blocks and anything that you put in your calendar or write in your calendar, just start with the planning period. Take 10 minutes at the beginning of each day and get consistent on that, and then take the next step. Once you got that, maybe 2 weeks in, once you've got that down, then move to the next thing and start executing on the list that you make for yourself. So try that. Start small. Honestly, it doesn't have to be huge changes. It can be small changes, and you implement them over time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think there's another recommendation in the chat. If I could recommend, start with 1 to 3 goals a day. Keep them small, but know you can stay consistent. Do that for a few weeks and add another goal, etc. Kind of similar to what you just said, but with actually executing the goal. So that's another thing as well. So write down 3 things that you're going to do them, You know, start really small. Maybe it's like a 10-minute task, a 5-minute task. So as long as you're following through with what you say you're going to do and practicing that motion, getting into that habit, building that habit. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate that recommendation in the chat. One goal can be, I will input all I have to do for the week every Sunday at 3 p.m. It's another way to do it. Yeah, lots of ideas. I love this. Any other questions as well? Or suggestions, anything. I'm more than happy to share anything that you guys put in the chat, or if you want to hop on the mic. Another one, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I have no questions. I just wanted to say you guys rock. Thank you very much for providing this. I was a little bit tardy. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad I caught Destiny's debut. You did so good, girl. Yes.
Thank you.
I see you have an amazing mentor.
I do.
You rock, girl. Okay, that is all. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
I love it. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. Such a wonderful group of people. And Karen, thank you always for the energy, for the hype. And Destiny, you also did a great job. And I want to thank everyone here who joined us for it and got to see you speak today and got to hear us talk a little bit about goal setting. So I hope this all helped you. And I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful rest of your evening and weekend. Okay? Have a wonderful night.